Yo, what's up guys, Space here, and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and today I'm going to be going over the TYPE-71, a tier 10 Japanese tech tree heavy tank. Now this tank, when it came out, was probably one of the most broken vehicles to ever hit the surface. Now, is the TYPE-71 still broken? That is the topic of today's video. So I'll be going over all the justification for my reasonings to why I think the TYPE-71 is not really broken, but is still a very formidable vehicle. As well as the TYPE-71 getting its new buff slash nerf in the next update. Wargaming is about to change this tank in September, I believe. All these updates are going to come through, where the entirety of tier 10 is getting a nerf slash rebalance type of working on them. And so the TYPE-71 is obviously going to be a part of that. And here are the stats that are going to be changed on the TYPE-71 if you're interested in it. But I think we should just head straight into it. Now, equipment wise, which I think is very important on this vehicle, and especially for me to talk about it, because the TYPE-71 and most of the Japanese line has a special equipment slot, and that is suspension, improved suspension I should say, and improved vertical stabilizer. And both of these equipment slots are very, very nice, but you should know that you lose out on the ability of equipping a improved optics or camouflage net, which this vehicle does really lack in terms of its view range. So yeah, you don't get that on this vehicle. However, it does have an equipment slot called the vertical stabilizer, which I just mentioned, that increases your gun depression from 6 degrees down all the way until 9 degrees of gun depression, which if you didn't know, 9 degrees can work on every single ridgeline in the game, no problem. You're going to snap on people, they won't even see your hull, they're just going to see your turrets, and that is what I love about 9 degrees of gun depression. However, on the TYPE-71, I don't suggest you to run in vertical stabilizer, and that is for a very obvious reason, and that is because improved suspension increases your maneuverability. Now, this tank already has a very nice gun in my opinion. Not a lot of people think the same, but the gun on the TYPE-71 in my opinion is fabulous. And if you have a fabulous gun, all you need then is mobility, because all you need in World of Tanks Blitz is mobility and a very nice gun. And if you take the vertical stabilizer, yes, you're going to be more versatile on a hill line and versatile in general. However, you're not going to be versatile in the spec that you could get to those positions on time to actually counter your enemies. The main reason why I really think this is because it increases your hull traverse speed if you run this. And this means that you can wiggle side to side very, very quickly, allowing you to get very troll bounces on this vehicle's upper plate and lower plate for that instance, and also just absorb a lot of shells into the tracks. However, with the rest of the equipment, it's all the same. It's what you've seen before. I'm currently running gun rammer on my TYPE-71, as well as enhanced gun lane drive, as well as vertical stabilizer. This just allows this mobile heavy tank to just be that extra bit more accurate when moving around. As I'm running defense system, enhanced armor, and toolbox, as well as the improved suspension, like I mentioned, engine accelerator, and high-end consumables. Now, provisions-wise, I'm running onigiri. I don't know how to pronounce that. It looks like eggs. I'm gonna call it eggs. It's basically crew mastery for the Japanese tanks. Then I'm running improved fuel and white rice. That's just to increase the overall crew of this vehicle. Now, consumables wise, I'm running adrenaline. I don't want anyone to be running engine power boost. I know a lot of people use it, but engine power boost is really, really not that useful, especially when adrenaline is in the game. And obviously you don't want to get rid of your both repair kits. So I'm running adrenaline, multi-repair kits, and a normal repair kit. Now, the first game I have for you today, guys, is one on Middleburg. And I think this game, while I don't bounce a lot of shells, it kind of shows how the TYPE-71 can be this all-in-one heavy tank. When you think things are going to fail, yeah, the TYPE-71 comes straight back at you and is like, nah, we're gonna win this game. And this is what happens in this game here. And I think it's actually pretty sweet, because I actually thought we were gonna lose this. And then the TYPE-71 just kept pulling out those bounces that I needed, and it saved me this game. Now, I kind of snap a shot there in the Conqueror, but one problem with this vehicle is that it's turret traverse speed is absolutely awful. So when you traverse overall with this tank, yeah, your turret kind of lags behind there. And as you can see on the left there, that 183 just missed me. I was actually about to get a shot into my side from that 183 and absolutely lose all my HP, but he actually missed me. So I guess the TYPE-71 also comes with some good fortune and luck. Now, that E75 hit my hatch very easily, and I was kind of surprised there. I also get nuked on the left here, and then this is when I was like, okay, this game is actually kind of screwed, because I'm surrounded right now. My team is just letting that Progredo and Conway get to my side, and at this point, I'm like, that 183 is going to pull around the corner. All these guys on the right here are just going to start rushing me, and I'm going to be dead. However, things don't happen that way, and you just need to just watch out and continue with the video here to see what happens. But as you can see, the Conqueror over there is just chilling. He's low HP. Now, that E75 almost snaps a shot into me. he is not the greatest of players. I did see at the end of the game his stats and all that. I'm not stat shaming, but he does get some very good shots on me, I must say. I'm going to pull around this corner and he smacks me for 500 on my hatch. And then I also get a track shot from the 183, luckily not going through my armament. At this point, I'm going for the 183. I'm going for damage because at this point, I'm 157 HP left, and I'm like, I am going to lose here, and I'm going to die, so might as well just shoot the high HP guys, get as much damage as I can out here, and then, yeah, that will be me for the game. However, I end up putting a nice shot in the E75, breaking his engine, keeping him in place for a few seconds, and then that allows me to get another very easy and sneaky shot into his lower plate. At this point, he's almost dead. I load heat just to make sure it goes through because the E75 at tier 9 still has a very troll lower plate that allows it to get bounces from even tier 10 vehicles. Now, another thing you're going to see here is that I'm always going for modules on vehicles. It is very important that you go for tracks and every type of module that you can possibly think of on a vehicle. It's important to do that because if you go for tracks, you can break down your enemy vehicle and just keep them in place there, allowing you to get another shot into them very easily. And we pull out a victory. Now, I didn't mention that I was going to kind of win this. Did you guys think that I was going to win that battle? Because I surely did not think so. We pull out 5,100 damage, and I believe we bounce about, yeah, almost 3,000 damage, which is actually not that much damage bounced. However, this game kind of showed you how the TYPE-71 can really take back that battle that is looking very strideful for your team. Now, I do have another replay for you guys. I just want to show you the credit coefficient on this vehicle. 5,000 damage will often not give you the most amount of credits. However, in this case, with the TYPE-71, 85,000 credits is what I totally pulled out of there. Now, this other game is on Canyon, and this game is really just to show you how much you can actually bounce in the TYPE-71. Now, the TYPE-71 is, if you would want to think about how the TYPE-71 plays, all you need to think of is an IS-7 and an IS-4 mixed together. However, this is only the case if you are running the improved suspension equipment on this vehicle. If you're running the gun depression, it is more like an E5 mixed with an IS-7, I would say, maybe an IS-4. However, when you run that improved suspension, yeah, you're really an IS-4 mixed with an IS-7. Now, I get a bit beefy with this Object 260 because he's one of the fastest heavy tanks on our team, and he just stays behind there. He's hiding behind a wall, and I didn't say anything else. Obviously, I left it at that, but he is just staying in the back, and that's one thing I do not recommend you guys to do if you're in a heavy tank, especially a very mobile one in the 260. Now, that 260 just stays there their entire game, absolutely just not helping me here. And as you can see, the TYPE-71 gun can be actually awful because while it has decent accuracy, as soon as you move that traverse speed, yeah, you're going to absolutely miss. And that Yag Panzer absolutely pens my upper plate, no problem. And that kind of will happen. I mean, the Yag Panzer probably has one of the most highest penetration values in the game. So it was kind of obvious that he penned me. Luckily, he only penned me for 500 damage. He just pulls around the corner and I end up putting another shell into him. Now, another thing why I don't like the TYPE-71 as much on its gun, for example, is that its alpha is absolutely horrible. It's 400 alpha, somewhat what you would see on the E5. And this means when you're rolling heat rounds, yeah, you're rolling about 350 damage a shot, which is somewhat like a medium tank. So when you're in the front line trying to get rid of very high HP tanks like an E100, you're not really putting the damage out fast enough. Now, as you can see, we bounce a nice shot on our upper plate, and in this position, if you angle exactly how I'm angling, you're going to bounce a lot of shells. Now, I'm shooting I'm just shooting heat here. I look like an absolute pay to win over here, just spamming heat into this E100. However, I just want to make sure that the shots go in. However, that one goes, I don't even know where. I think it went underneath the hull and hit the track there, which is very unfortunate. However, as you can see, still rolling the heat because obviously I want to clear that E100 as soon as possible so that I can deal with this Yag Panzer E100 on my right. I'm not sure where he is as of now because he has been unspotted for majority of the game since I started shooting this E100. Now, as you can see, the accuracy is still doing its work. I rolled 284 on that E100, and that is one thing that I don't like about 400 alpha guns, especially on the TYPE-71. Another 300 roll there. I just did, in 20 seconds, because this reload is 9 seconds long, I did about 500 damage. That is absolutely awful if you think about it. Yes, I'm shooting heat. However, yeah, this tank definitely needs a alpha buff, which is what it's going to get. It's going to get somewhat like the IS-4's alpha in the next updates in September. It's going to get a 420 alpha gun, which I think is a lot better for this vehicle. Now, we bounced our first heat shell on that YAG, I think. I think it was actually the second heat shell that we bounced. And as you can see, their enemy team is dead. It's absolutely demolished. Now, all there is that poor E75 in the back there. I didn't think that AP shell would go through since it was a bit red, but luckily it did. And as you can see up there, I bounced so many shells, and that is because when the TYPE-71 is wiggling about and is in an angle like I was there, you guys just need to copy the angle I was at I would say that's about a 45 to 75 degree angle that you have to play this tank, and somewhat like you would angle the E100 or mouse. But obviously you just do that with the hull, and then that just makes the lower plates and the upper plates on this vehicle very troll. And because of the very nice traverse speed when you're running the improved suspension, it means you can wiggle very fast in and out of that, making you a very hard target to actually hit. And there we go, we pull out another 5,000 game, and I believe this was right after the last game, and we pull out a 4,180 damage block game here. And I didn't really notice that I bounced that many shells because the TYPE-71 is just so good at that. You sit in a position, you bounce a bunch of shells that you don't really think much of it, and then when you leave the game, you see 4,000 damage blocked, and you think, where the hell did I block those shells? That did not come over my head when I was in that game. However, we do manage to block the 4 shells, we kill 3 people, and we do bounce 6 shells. I believe that was on the YAG, and a few shots that kind of didn't go through on that E100. However, another 5,000 damage blocked. Our Object 260 obviously sticking in the back of the map. He did only 1,000 damage, which is not bad, but obviously if he did use his tank by pushing up and assisting me a bit more, maybe he could have done a bit more damage and probably assisted me a bit better than he would have if he was sitting in the back of the map like he was. Now anyways guys, that's how you should play the TYPE-71. Basically a very frontline heavy tank. You want to be the one right next to your mouse buddy that is pushing straight through. You wiggle in this vehicle, you're going to bounce a bunch of shells. I don't think the TYPE-71 is broken. However, I do think it is absolutely very, very strong, and I do like the aspect that it has a very special equipment. But the improved suspension is not going to be that special in the future as the VK72, the German super heavy, to get the exact same equipment slot, the improved suspension. So we'll just have to see how that performs on the VK72, which I'll definitely do a review on that when it comes. Anyways guys, let me know what you think of the TYPE-71. Do you think it's broken, or do you think it's just an average tier 10 heavy tank? You can let me know in the comment section below or in my Discord server. There'll be a link to join that in the description of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can let me know by leaving a like and subscribe. It really helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. That's it for me today. Hope your shells hit their marks, and I'll check you in the next one. Cheers.